Strength in the Saddle, Managing Jockey Performance, Injury and Wellbeing in Hong Kong, in Hong Kong racing. We're now joined by Chris Camper, he began in South Africa at top-level schoolboy rugby. He then transitioned to Premier League soccer, and he is now the head physio at Hong Kong Jockey Club for the last 4 years. I'm going to introduce him to you now, and then we're going to be joined by Keith Young and Holly Doyle as well. So we have a lot to look forward to. But for first, can you please welcome Chris Camper? Thank you.
Good afternoon. I heard I missed a big party last night. So, I'm Chris Camper. I'm currently the head physiotherapist at the Hong Kong Jockey Club Jockey Performance Institute. Today we're going to discuss a few things where we discuss jockey performance, injuries, and the general well-being of the jockeys in Hong Kong. And then basically how we keep them strong in the saddle. Just a quick bio. I finished my studies in Bloemfontein, in the University of the Free State. I've always had a special interest in sports and sports physiotherapy and orthopedics. And I spent some time in the South African Premier Soccer League. Not that I'm a soccer player at all. I like the oval-shaped ball, but I was told not to say anything about that tonight. But there's where I learned the dynamics of working with professional athletes, and also working with in team environment. Also, I did also learn about how the various combination of swear words that can be thrown at you if you give the wrong, or if you give some bad news to the coaches. So, but luckily I'm not going to practice that tonight, though. So let's go. Sorry. So this is where we start. The Hong Kong Jockey Club recognized the need for an on-site facility after consulting and discussing the needs by the jockeys and some of the staff. The restrictions of COVID-19 accelerated the whole process. And it was also backed by scientific data that my colleague John O'Reilly has done years prior. The physical and mental demands, this is basically how we started. Massage bed, wooden horse, and a few dumbbells. Now, a lot's happened ever since then. So I'm quickly going to discuss a few stats regarding the load, mental and physical load on the jockeys, where there's a 10% increase in races over the last 10 years. There's been a 9% increase in starters, and a whopping 50% increase in barrier trial runners. That's 2,900 at the Chung Fa racecourse trials. Now, I remember as I started, there was only 3 trials on a Tuesday and 3 trials on a Friday. And now there's some times where there would be racing every day. Sunday, there would be racing. Monday, Chung Fa trials. Tuesday, Sha Tin trials. Wednesday, racing. Thursday, Chung Fa trials, all Sha Tin trials, and Friday, trials again. So that really presented an opportunity to assist these jockeys in their performance. Where are we now? We've developed ever since then. Like the video that John showed earlier as well. Now we have a fully functional gym, physiotherapy service, chiropractic, strength and conditioning service, sports massage, and the recovery facility that's just been upgraded recently. And then also weekly nutritional advice for these jockeys. This serves as the first impact or first contact to the jockey, especially after races, trials, and barrier trials, where we do daily assessments of their needs. From there, we will work on a plan on, is it going to be an injury management? Is it going to be injury prevention? Or is it going to be strength and conditioning? And this also serves as a good time for the jockey to say, there's something wrong with my riding posture. I don't feel 100% on that horse. That's a word that the jockeys use a lot, is the feel they have. And that's where we then discuss what's the way forward. In this situation, we do have a time where we then pass the information through to the rest of the team, and then we all work towards the common goal. So the common goal of their performance. And as you can see, we're busy doing a bit of physio. So one of the jockeys had a bit of a hip pain after races on Sunday. Then between Monday morning, when you would see us the first time, and the next race day on Wednesday, he would have access between 1 to 6 sessions of intervention. So that gives him the confidence to fully trust his ability to be 100% in the next race on Wednesday. With me being there, race day operations as well, where I'll be even seeing and treating jockeys in between races, and sometimes they might come up with a bit of a sore back, sore neck, or even a shoulder, and they just get them to the race day. Here you see my colleague doing some mobilizations to improve thoracic extension, neck extension, which is very important for the biomechanics whilst racing, with able to turn your neck, look around, vision, and also maintaining your weight balance way better. The riding position as it is already very restricted and very similar to like you will find with in cycling, and that could limit shoulder dynamics, shoulder biomechanics, and that helps for the last two furlongs to fully get that full extension when they're in position. So at the end of the day, the jockey is well oiled before he gets onto the next race day. Strength conditioning, you've seen Keith Young without his shirt a few times already, but where the exercise that we are doing and the training that we are doing is specific to lower abdominal core to improve balance, grip strength, maybe even some push-pull actions to simulate some sort of a sensation that you have an oar. So that, like again, repetition is everything. The sports massage plays a massive role in maintaining the jockeys' bodies. Body ache, muscle ache is a constant battle for these jockeys, and that's well studied that sore muscles do influence performance. Strength and conditioning is where we work on those tailored programs for every jockey. Sometimes the jockey would want to work on pure strength. Sometimes the jockey would want to work on balance, explosiveness. Even he just wants to come in just to tick it over and reap the benefits of a full body workout mixed with high intensity interval training to simulate that respiratory and cardiovascular heart rate spikes you find in racing. At the recovery room, like John explained before, we've got a few cold plunges, sauna, etc. Now, when it comes to the cold plunge, recent studies have shown that it might be even detrimental to muscle synthesis and the strength metrics, especially after doing resistance training. So the key is here where we advise the jockeys after a strength training session, rather do it late in the day or the next day. And if they combine that with the use of sauna, you would just say you're going to spend very limited time in the cold plunge anyway, just to get your cooling down. Now, across the world, there's a big negativity around saunas, but here with the jockeys actually use it for its actual intention, recovery. There are massive amount of benefits from sauna, like growth hormone increases, which in turn helps recovery. Helps in muscle recovery as well. Positive effects on VO2 max, cardiovascular health, respiratory health, great for detoxification after a few heavy dinners, improve circulation, and various mental health benefits. Massive sleep is a big one, and all of that comes together under recovery. So basically what happens is that after a morning, that jockey would have run through everything. And this happens every day. every week. And that's 88 races for the year. That's 44 weeks that we continuously work on. So you get to know these jockeys really well, and you get to know what works for them and what don't. And that's part of what's actually very beautiful and very unique in Hong Kong. This facility provides us the management of physical performance and really assisting to assist the jockey to reach his goals. He knows where he's weak. He knows where he wants to get better. Also, really being on top of injuries, small little niggles we want to fix before it actually changes into something different. And then, very important, like my colleague John O'Reilly has explained before, is improving our bone health, where bone health scores actually improve over the last 4 years, which is almost unseen for professional athletes at this age. And plus the constant restriction of food and water to actually keep the weights down. And then improvement of muscle mass. Now it's not the same as gaining muscle. Increasing muscle mass is actually improving the quality of the muscle and reaping the benefits of it. Overcoming injuries way quicker, bouncing back way quicker, recovery way bigger. So at the end of the day, you get so much more from that jockey, or he feels like he can get so much more from it. So this helps us to get there. And then with that, you get better weight management. And there are various weight management strategies which my colleague has also assisted us with this. A lot of this comes with education of nutrition of the jockeys. They constantly be reminded these are better options than that. We also emphasize quality over quantity. Like my colleagues also said before, like the quantity of certain calories in the food is the benefits far outweighs quantity. And then what you get, in essence, is a safe space for these jockeys, where they can, out of the public eye, they can be themselves, they can build some sort of camaraderie, and even they get the feeling of they're working together as a team. Nurturing positive competition. If it happens that I'm testing grip strength for the jockey, they'll be seeing I'll be testing grip strength for one jockey, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by 6 jockeys who always want to be the best and the strongest. One day you'll have Lexi Bedell doing 80-kilogram deadlifts. The next day, great jockeys is like, can I also get in that and that type of thing? Or is that good for you, or whatever? So that's how you get them into tune for that. And as the facilities upgraded over the past years, that has brought jockeys to really buy into the idea that you can really invest that time in yourself, and at the end of the day gives you a really good positive atmosphere, and then a tailored program, really. Let me go through this one first. Okay, before that one, okay, let's go back to this one. To the future. We will continue to challenge ourselves to really raise the benchmark globally for jockey performance management, and then really strive to start a new norm for jockey performance. And maybe this could be some sort of a blueprint for other jurisdictions to take back home with and maybe implement from somewhere else. I spoke to Umberto Rispoli this morning. He said, "Chris, this feels like I'm riding in a professional football club," and it's possible. This whole facility is based on these 5 cornerstones, and the emphasis on muscle quality gives the jockey the ability to really use strength, power, explosiveness, and really, again, like I said, getting over that injuries really fast. And if that gets together, then recovery. If you can get that jockey back on the horse with confidence, without leaving any doubt out there that he can fail, you really increase the focus later on. Maintenance of small niggles, small injuries, minor injuries, niggles turn into serious injuries between 20 to 30% of the time, a week or 2 weeks after. That's shown in football. Why can't we focus on that? And then nutrition. Basically, the field is so important. And if we do all of this together, and if we take some of the load off the jockey, all he really needs to do is focus. Focus on what he needs to do. Then just a special thanks. Special thanks to the team of people that brought everything together. Firstly, the jockeys that are joining us here today for a short Q&A, Holly Doyle and Keith Young. Keith Young is my VVIP at the moment. He's been one of the bigger benefactors of the setup. And then also for the Hong Kong Jockey Club, for the continuous trust and investment in mates towards the jockeys' welfare. And then obviously John O'Reilly, because he's been involved here for a while, and also his advice given me and also the jockeys over the years, that it almost becomes second nature for the jockeys to understand what nutrition is about and what the importance of bone health is. And then Stephen Higgins to assist us, for continuously assisting us with the facility upgrades. You just need to treat Stephen and things will happen. He's a really good runner, by the way. And then also Terry Bailey. He's not here today, but he's someone that really puts the well-being and the success of every jockey, international jockey, local jockey, as first priority. And this is where he plays a big role. And then finally, just Andrew Harding. His son represents Hong Kong national rugby team, and he understands the needs of professional athletes. And just thank you for him just pushing over this line. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to hold on to Chris for a moment, and delighted to be joined here, and we're going to get a few moments Q&A and a bit of background on that. If we could ask to step forward and sit with us for a moment. Holly Doyle, thank you for coming, and Keith Young as well. If you could join us on the stage, we might have a few Q&As with you if you're okay. I think we've Keith as well. Yeah, thank you very much. Can you sit with us here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to get it from the rider's perspective. It's so impressive what we see here in Hong Kong. Holly, I might begin with you. Have you a microphone there? Yeah. I mean, these facilities they're world leading, and you've come from so many jurisdictions. It must be so comforting to know you've this support.
Yeah, no, I've been here 5 weeks now, and I can genuinely say it's the best facility I've ever experienced in the world, really. I came from England after a long and hard season. We race 7 days a week, and I think it's safe to say I turned up like a little brick. So I honestly feel like I've got a new set of legs on me after only racing twice a week here and having so much treatment and training sessions with Chris and Glenn. Whatever you want here, really, you can get, and it's pretty remarkable.
And that transition, it fascinates me on so many levels. I mean, that opportunity to let the body down, but even the mind for 5 weeks. You're so on it every day in England. There's always tomorrow and the next day and this evening. Just having that couple of days racing a week, mentally and physically, how have you found it?
A lot different, to be honest. The first week it took a bit of getting used to with the new system, etc. But the riding twice a week, although I think from the outside looking in, the perception is that it's easy here, but it's really not. And I take my hat off to the jockeys, because obviously they don't have agents, so there's a lot of mental stress. So we do the track work in the mornings, and then we tend to go up to Chris in the gym, and a lot of lads will be in there having massage or physio or a training session. And I just think it's just a safe space, really, where everyone, we're so competitive on the track, but obviously when we step in the gym, we do have a laugh, don't we? And everyone's kind of in a good frame of mind. It's just a different environment.
And I suppose it's a little early to ask you this, and it's such a different environment, but are you already seeing things that you could transfer back home, albeit it's a completely different layout? As I suppose geographically you could be all over the country, but do you think it's possible to see how, to begin to see how you could adapt this back? And I don't mean this just for England. I mean any jurisdiction, because they're all so busy.
I think it's really hard because the schedule in England and Ireland is so much more racing, and obviously we have the IJF in England, which is incredible, you know, the facility and the care we have when we need it. But to make these things work, you need time. So obviously I think it could happen, but with the current fixture list, it's really hard to probably implement.
One final question, because I want to get to Keith, and I want you to have an opportunity to use them, the two guys, while they're here. Now that you have the time, and now that you've seen the benefits, albeit you're not riding competitively as much, are you seeing some of those benefits at the time, even physically? Would you welcome in any way a little bit less relentlessness, or do you see a way that could happen back at home?
The only way I could see it could happen is if we have less racing, and I'm the type of jockey that wants to ride winners every day, so I'm not, you know, I don't want to ride any less winners. But I feel like I'm riding better than ever since I've been here. In England it was an okay year for me, but I feel like I've come here and everything has just changed, and I'm riding with much more confidence mentally and physically. I feel 10 years younger, and I came here with a few, you know, niggles physically, and I'll walk away feeling a lot better.
Chris, you are coming out of this really well, and you haven't said a word. Keith, if I can bring you in. Keith's former champion apprentice here in Hong Kong. He's one of their leading riders. You began 15, 20 years ago riding in Hong Kong, so you've seen and something we've discussed, the cultural change on how riders look at weight, concussion, injury, rehabilitation. Talk us through what you've seen in terms of change, both from yourself and in the weigh room over that period, if you could, please.
I think when I first started, and I think all jockeys work as an individual. We got no support, and say like if you want to get fit, you need to find your own trainer. You can decide to do nothing for the whole week, or you can decide to go training every day, but it's all on you. So back in the days, it's very depending on you, and I think I spent most of my time partying and drinking. So I was really like riding based with my talents, and I felt like I just wasted my early days until Chris showed up, and then. And I think he really brought me back in the game, and so he changed my mind, and then like makes me wanted to be better, makes me wanted to get more involved in the racing, and thanks to the club and for bringing Chris in, and then start to like focusing and more on supporting the jockeys both physically and mentally. And then it really helps to, I think it really helped me to wanted to be better in the game.
And that you've just finished off by answering my next question. So you can see, or you feel you can see the benefits out on the track from what you're doing with Chris. That strength, that awareness, you feel that you can see that now on the track?
Huge. Like I think just before Chris came, and I was so close to retired, and like I just felt like I had enough, and I wasn't doing as well, and I was just losing it. So I was so ready to give up. And also the same year, towards the end of the season, I had an accident, and then I broke the horse ran my feet into the fence, and I just broke my toes. And so that's the time when that's the first time I see Chris.
How did that go?
No good. He screwed up my holiday.
Sorry.
Yes. Because it was the end of the season, and I think it's only like a month left towards the end of the season. So if I stay on the bench, I still get paid by the Jockey Club for the insurance, and I can get to paid for that and for my summer holiday as well. So I was planning to doing it.
There's a lot in this, Keith. There's a lot in this.
Because like I was going to retire anyway, so why bothered? And then I saw, and then Terry Bailey, the steward at the time, say, we've hired a new physiotherapist, and you should go see him. I said, okay. And then I show up with my crutches, pretending I'm still very lame. And then Chris started to assess my injury, and then asked me to, can you show me your feet, and then like try to walk. So I was trying to be the best actor and playing myself in so much of pain. I can't. And then Chris obviously picked it up and he picked out of that, and then he said, it doesn't seem that bad. Maybe you just like you're more of like you think you're in pain, but it wasn't that bad. So, and then he started really hard trying to treating me, and eventually he brought me back in 2 weeks' time. After 2 weeks, he put me back in the saddle, and I get to ride winner at the last day of the season. So it just went really well, and I will forever remember that.
Very good. I'm just, Holly, one question, and then please be ready with yours. The culture here, Chris or Keith has just described the sense of awareness around the competitive advantage of being fit and being aware and all the rest of it. We've seen some wonderful presentations around that. Where do you think the UK, irrespective of the opportunities to advance themselves, where do you think the European riders are in terms of awareness of how much better they can be, stronger they can be, rehabilitate better? Do you think we're where we should be in terms of rider awareness?
I think it takes a lot of, personally, I feel if you want to do it, you'll do it. If you don't, you don't. And here, I think success breeds success. In the environment you're in, you either do it or you get left behind. And I think it's just personal choice. And for me, I enjoy training and trying to improve my strength and riding. And obviously, being a female jockey, I wanted to be as strong as the lads. So that was my kind of motivation. But I mean, like Keith said, some guys can just ride and get away with it because they're just so naturally talented. But I think you can always be better. And here, it really does push you to be better. But in England, we do have the access to these, this help and facility. It's just trying to find the time. Yeah.
Find the time.
Yeah.
I think we've discussed that a little bit. Questions? I'm sure there are some, so I don't want to try and. I'm conscious I took all of the time at the previous session with questions. So if you have any, do you feel? But while we're waiting for a question, Chris, culturally, can you see the change across all riders? Obviously Keith wasn't forth. He didn't load the first time, is what we say in Ireland. He needed a little persuasion. But do you think all the riders now they load better? They accept your work better?
No, I think definitely. I think it's the constant education. A lot of times there will be a jockey on the bed and you'll be asking, why do I do this and why do I do that? So there's a constant feed of education of why the system actually works and what you can tap into, what's different to, I keep on bringing on professional football. Why is this different? And I think it comes where there's a mindset that needs to be changed. Before people recognize you as a professional athlete, that's something you need to realize yourself. And then other sporting codes and how they do that, and how you can do that with your own racing. And I think the more, and I think that's where I've been using over the last 4 years is to get jockeys more involved with it, is to use their competitive spirit. Like next day, I think there was a time where Keith didn't have a lot of winners, but you didn't see him for a while, and then he started coming back for physio, and then before you know it, there's another winner. I think there was a time we did we'd call bar cardio. You take a barbell and you do as much as you possibly can in different variations, and you went out and you ran a winner. He did a full training session on race day before his races. That's the mentality of Keith, though. And then, but he won. And it brought him back. There was a jockey recently, Anton Hamlin. He never spent a day in the gym. But after he realized that he's not going to come back to Hong Kong for next year's season, he started doing some training where he couldn't bend over to lift up a dumbbell. And next thing you know, the last 4 weeks was probably the best part of the season. Now, it doesn't make you stronger, it doesn't make you win. I think it's investing in your purpose, which helps them at the end of the day, that focus. Because lifting a dumbbell is not going to make you win a race, but it might give you a little bit of a benefit or an edge over the guy next to you, and gives you a split second to take a gap or not take a gap.
Yeah.
And just improve that decision making.
It's absolutely it's the fine margins. Keith and Holly would ride winners all day long, but if you can get the mentality of trying to be the best you can be and ride that extra winner, they're the one that makes a difference. We can let them go, or you've one last chance. I'm like auctioneering now. Final time round the ring, all done and finished. So here we go. Are we all happy with? Listen, I want to thank Keith. I want to thank Holly for taking the time to come. Wish you both well at the weekend. There's endless work going on for riders. I hope you can convey that back to the weigh room, because the work that we've seen over the last day or two has been terrific. But thank you for taking the time to come here, and Chris as well. Thank you very much. We've one session to get through. Can you please show your appreciation to Keith, to Holly, and to Chris?